And here's a shell bombing that happened this morning. So these are shell videos that are just from this morning. According to Intel Republic, which has been doing some excellent boots on the ground journalism, we learned that overnight, this is an amazing story, 60 Ukrainian soldiers. You probably will not see this in the mainstream media at all. I would really challenge CNN to actually cover this part of the story. So overnight, a group of 60 Ukrainian commandos, 2 commando groups with 7 boats, launched across the river to try to take back the Zaporizhzhia power plant. Now, they attacked the area using shells that we just showed you in this video, and that was this morning. So these 60 Ukrainian soldiers try to attack the plant on boats. Then the Russian Air Force took them out, and 3 of them are now in custody. 2 of them are in critical condition, and I'm absolutely sure that the the nuclear inspectors maybe would love to speak with them.
Yes.
You know, like, hey, we got some guys in the hospital. They were trying to show up this morning. Maybe we should go and talk to those guys. We also learned this afternoon that, and Gonzalo Lira is tweeting this, I've seen this now in multiple reports, that he's jokingly calling this a rumor, but you can read between the lines. We don't have confirmation of this yet. I've heard from multiple sources on this that this was planned by the British, the British military, the British special forces, to carry out this early morning attack on the power plant. And the goal, I'm just going to go through what Gonzalo says here, is that this was Boris Johnson himself was pushing for this insanity. A group of British trained Ukrainian commandos would stage an amphibious raid on this area and form a beachhead for a larger attack group of the power plant. Their plan was to take the International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors as hostages and then mine the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And then get this, he says, they would pretend to be Russian commandos so they could blame it on Russians.
That's ridiculous. This is an Avengers movie.
I know. But why were these 60, that happened. 60 commandos tried to storm the plant this morning, and they were taken out by the Russian Air Force. That's been confirmed by multiple news outlets this afternoon. So, and there's 3 of them were captured, 2 of them in critical condition, 1 who may be able to speak to the press. Or inspectors or other people.
According to this theory, there are Ukrainian military members who could act convincingly as if they are Russians. They are capable of doing that.
Sure. I mean, if they can speak fluent Russian, it's not uncommon at all.
And yes, I'm wearing this uniform, and absolutely I am. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not, of course, many people in Ukraine speak Russian. In fact, Ukrainian is a fairly recent language to that region.
Let's go through some of the rest of it then to kind of maybe answer this. So the Russians appear to have foiled this whole operation, destroying 47 commandos with these air attacks, but capturing at least 2 and an additional 2 who are in critical condition. If they survive, the Russians will have 4 witnesses who can testify to this insanity. Whoever thought this was a rational, reasonable plan is beyond desperate. This is insanity on a major scale. It's a global nuclear blackmail, and the current information points to MI6 and Boris Johnson. According to the current rumor, as he says it, it was the British MI6 that planned this insane operation from those suburban offices in Kiev at the behest and the encouragement of Boris Johnson, who, by the way, gave his last speech today, telling people to go out and buy new tea kettles in Britain. That's exactly what he said. You'll save money on your electric bill by going and buying a new tea kettle. Might cost you £20, but you'll save in the long run because it's a new tea kettle, and that's how we'll solve Britain's energy crisis.
The new ones are more energy efficient. I gotcha.
That was his last speech.
And then the landfill will be filled with all old tea kettles.
I would love to hear in our chat. Let us know, you guys watching us live right now. I mean, these 60 commandos were killed, 47 of them at least, we know, and a number of them captured. 7 boats were used in this attack. And they knew these inspectors were coming there today. They arrived in Kiev yesterday. This was announced and on the books and happening. Why in the hell would they put an attack towards a nuclear power plant when these inspectors are showing up? I mean, just let me know in the chat what you think about it. Because can you come up with another idea? I don't know.
And let's prove to them we're not shelling there by attacking there in a different way.
Yeah, that went really well. It'll be interesting to see, though, what reports come out. So let's go further into this inspection because I want to see if they actually if the UN and these atomic energy inspectors actually want to find out why were these commandos coming there in the first place? Like, what's the point of that? And will we hear any of that in their report? Anyway, so we also learned this afternoon from the Intel Republic. The Zaporizhzhia administration says failed Ukrainian army attempt to take control of Zaporizhzhia was as at the command of the British Special Services. Ukrainian paratroopers taking part were trained abroad, as Russian Ministry of Defense says Kiev's forces taking part in the assault were almost completely destroyed. Okay?
Now, we had independent reports of Ukrainian soldiers being trained in the United Kingdom just as recently as last week, right?
Right.
I can't remember the context in which
it was in Kent. It was in it was in Kent in the UK.
Okay, so we know that those people exist.
Yes, they absolutely exist. We have plenty of reports of them being trained in Denmark, in Belgium, in the UK, in Germany. I mean, all sorts of training going on in Germany as well. So I'm curious. A lot of people said, I saw someone from Sweden in our chat just saying, no, I've not heard any of this in Sweden. Like, we're not hearing any of these reports. I just would be curious, in your local news reports that you watch in your country, do you get this kind of news? Are you seeing any of these stories? Or do you just get the propaganda that they spin to you? So anyway, it was a suicide mission. If they signed up for this, it was a suicide mission. They knew they were going to be taken out. After a 3-hour delay, after this bombardment this morning, then finally, these inspectors were allowed to actually make their way to the power plant. Here's video of them in the convoy making their way down the road there as the International Atomic Energy Agency on their way to the power plant. And then here they are pulling in. We have video of that too, of them pulling in the gate. Here they're pulling up to, there's reactor number 1. Pulling in there. And then, so they pulled in all the big convoy. And then Rafael Grossi, who is in charge of this, the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, he says, look, the whole world, the attention has been on this. There he is, that's Grossi, on this power plant. We've been watching it from the very beginning, he says, but it was necessary to take a step forward and to stabilize the situation. So then he spoke on camera. Again, Intel Republic has some video here. I want to play that one first, Rossi at the power plant, where he's talking about some of the concerns and getting some answers here. So listen to Rossi talking about what they've accomplished today in a few short hours at the power plant. Listen.
We are finishing our long-awaited visit to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. I have just completed a first tour of the key areas that we wanted to see in this first approach to the whole facility. Of course, there is a lot more to do. My team is staying on, and more importantly, and most importantly, we are establishing a continued presence from the IAEA here.
Okay.
All right, so they're sticking around, right? They're not here for you to prove anything in one day.
No, till September 3rd.
Continued presence.
September 3rd, they're going to be there looking and doing their reporting. So we'll find out. I guess, we're going to have to wait for their findings. They're going to leave the inspectors there until the 3rd of September. And then when we have an update from the International Atomic Energy Agency on this story and what they conclude, my fear is, I'll just give them my fear, is that we'll get a wishy-washy report from them with nothing really conclusive. And then there won't be anything in there about this commando raid this morning. So it'll be wishy-washy and it'll be
get anything
empty.